Despite extensive media coverage and fans' incessant curiosity, it appears like Taylor Swift and Travis Kelce's love is here to stay. One person, though, is very unhappy that Taylor has moved on, and that person is none other than Joe Alwyn, her former boyfriend. It appears that Joe still has a strong bond with Taylor, and he is not pleased with how swiftly she moved on. However, Joe chose to publicly insult Travis Kelce rather than process his grief in a reasonable manner. This is unusual for Joe as he often values his privacy. As you can imagine, Taylor was not at all pleased about this and became furious at Joe as a result. However, why did Joe say what he did? And why is he so angry at Travis Kelce? Is he acting jealously? Above all, what was said by Taylor? This is precisely what today's video will reveal to us. To ensure that you don't miss a single juicy detail of this celebrity drama, be sure to watch through to the very conclusion. In addition, remember to subscribe to my channel in order to receive updates on all celebrity news. In order to comprehend this entire drama, we must first travel back to 2016, and Joe Alwyn and Taylor Swift began dating in that year. And in 2017, they formally declared their love. Because they were at different degrees of celebrity, many people were very dubious about the connection at first. Since Taylor was well known for only entering into extremely public relationships prior to dating Joe, it appears that this was an attempt by her to enter into a more private relationship. Conversely, Joe was already doing all right, but prior to dating Taylor, he was unknown across the globe. Even now, many speculate about who made the choice to keep the connection so secret. However, a lot of admirers think that Joe was attempting to keep things more discreet. And since Taylor was only well known for her very public romances, it was a novel approach for her to date. This essentially indicates that they managed to conceal their connection for several months, only revealing small details through interviews or musical compositions. They thought at the time that it was a smart strategy to shield their relationship from outside influences, like the press or fans, something we don't often see from celebrities these days. Their relationship appeared to be going great for years, and Joe had a significant influence on Taylor's music. For instance, albums like Reputation, Lover, and Evermore, which were published during the time of their relationship, revealed a far more mature and in-depth side of Taylor than we had previously seen. Songs like Delicate and Call It What You Want are two more examples of that. Taylor talks a lot about falling in love again, and her love for Joe Alwyn undoubtedly served as inspiration. But the most overt references and inspirations came from the songs Evermore and Folklore on the album, most likely. You see, Taylor used to lean more toward pop music with lively tunes. But compared to her previous tracks, her new ones were a little quieter, indie, and alternative. I must admit that I'm by no means an expert in music, but at least that's what I have noticed. Don't get me wrong, despite their best efforts to maintain their relationship quiet, there was always conjecture about them, and occasionally, photographers were able to capture some pictures of them. However, in contrast to her past relationships, she wasn't aggressively attempting to draw attention to it, and their public appearances were infrequent. They gave off the impression that they were content for years, and there was even much speculation that they would eventually get married and start a family. That all changed, though, in early 2023, when it was revealed that Taylor and Joe had broken up badly. They ended their relationship in the same manner as they ended it, which was essentially by keeping all the specifics of their split quiet. This meant that there were no big reveal or remarks made in public. Fortunately for us fans, a number of sources started leaking more and more information about what transpired and the reasons behind their breakup. The most reliable source claims that their relationship ended because of their disparate levels of celebrity. According to reports, Joe struggled greatly to accept the fact that Taylor Swift is far more famous than he is, and that his professional achievements were solely due to his relationship with Swift. Joe Alwyn became enraged after reading headlines such as how Taylor Swift catapulted Joe Alwyn from a shy Bristol student to an A-lister in Hollywood. And it seems that instead of talking to Taylor about his difficulties in a normal way, he became very angry with her. The same source claims that at one point they decided to call it quits because this was evidently too much for their relationship. Taylor's struggles were evident in the months that followed, as she frequently broke down in tears during her performances of songs that were co-written or dedicated to Joe. But a few weeks later, she was involved in a brief romantic connection with Maddie Healy. Sadly for Taylor, they ended their relationship a few weeks later due to Maddie getting into a lot of problems. Had they stayed together, it would have had a detrimental effect on her profession. Contrarily, Joe chose to go into complete hiding and deal with the split in a very different way by withdrawing from society for a spell. When a photographer saw him again in London around 2 months after the separation, he still appeared distraught. However, after that, the conversation mostly revolved around Taylor's romantic life because she was occupied with her Summertime Eras tour. That quickly altered, though, in October 2023. At this point in Taylor's romantic life, NFL player Travis Kelce made his appearance. Some of Travis' pals claimed that he was scared to ask Taylor out because he had a crush on her for a time. Travis seemed to have gotten enough confidence when his team, the Kansas City Chiefs, were winning, since he invited her to one of his games. She accepted the invitation right away and showed up to the game. Naturally, the rumors took off, and Taylor began to attend an increasing number of games with Travis after that. She even invited several of her pals along with her at one point. A few weeks afterward, they were first spotted together in public. Furthermore, unlike her connection with Joe Alwyn, she made no effort to keep it a secret from the public. Every time they were spotted together in public, it seemed as though she was performing for the photographers. But at that time, nothing was proven, and it was unclear whether they were simply close friends or were in a relationship. However, I must admit that the majority of people were persuaded that they were a couple, and that their public relationship was only a matter of time. From then on, they were spotted together more and more. Taylor even went to Travis's Kansas mansion on Halloween with him. It's probably unnecessary for me to mention that this even persuaded the doubters that they are dating. Still, it wasn't official at that moment. But one night in Buenos Aires, Argentina, this all changed. Travis made the decision to go to Taylor's concert that evening as part of her Aries tour. Taylor swapped a lyric from a song she had originally written for Joe Alwyn for one she had rewritten for Travis Kelce during the performance. People were understandably ecstatic about this, and following the event, she raced straight to Travis to give him a public kiss, marking the formal beginning of their relationship. And although it seems like everyone was thrilled for them, her ex-husband Joe Alwyn was one guy who wasn't really content. It's safe to say that Joe wasn't overly pleased to learn that Taylor was seeing someone else, especially since it appears he continued to be silent during their relationship. But what really incensed him was that Taylor had composed a song originally for Joe, and now she was only changing a phrase for her new boyfriend. But rather than criticizing Taylor for it, he began to subtly criticize Travis, suggesting that he will no longer be in a relationship with Taylor, and that he is now simply the one who has his turn with her. Fans were understandably incensed by this, as it was not only uncalled for, but also interpreted as a show of jealousy and resentment. Online users were unable to contain their laughter, with one admirer writing, "I can't believe Joe would say something like that about Travis. It's really inconsiderate of him and Taylor. Relationships are about the quality of the relationship, not how long they last. Joe is being petty with his remarks." Another one said, "Joe shouldn't be treating Travis this poorly. He seemed to be really happy with Taylor." Alternatively, the previous commenter stated, "This whole situation is getting blown out of proportion." Although Joe's remarks were inappropriate, the details of their connections remain unknown to us. But Joe's actions disappointed more people than just the fans. Additionally, Taylor failed to consider the likelihood that Joe might remark in this way about Travis and Taylor. But when it comes to the media, Taylor is a pro, as we all know. Furthermore, she shielded Travis rather than taking direct aim at Joe for his remarks, which incidentally, the supporters seemed to want. She therefore refrained from being overtly combative in her reaction, instead emphasizing that she truly loves Travis and will always be by his side, not merely because of the publicity he has received. This has further demonstrated her sincerity in the relationship. Many fans had conjectured that Taylor was only seeing Travis in order to gain fame. However, given that Taylor is already a megastar and her concerts are in high demand, I find this argument to be rather puzzling. Once more, fans posted remarks on social media. One fan stated, "Taylor standing up for Travis is everything. It demonstrates how much she cherishes their bond. She's come a long way and doesn't hesitate to stand up for what she values." Taylor's elegant reply to Joe's inappropriate remarks only serves to highlight how happy she is with Travis. Or someone else who said, "I'm impressed with Taylor's handling of this situation. Not only is she standing up for Travis, but she's also establishing limits around the perception of her relationships." Personally, I don't understand why Joe would say something to this effect, especially considering that their relationship hasn't ended in a major argument. And from what I understand, they simply reached a crossroads in their lives and concluded that things couldn't work out any longer. Perhaps I'm mistaken though, and Joe's anger was a result of his hopes for a reconciliation with Taylor. However, I would really like to know what you think about this whole subject. Do you believe Joe should let Taylor and Travis be happy and move on, or at the very least, leave them alone? Or do you believe that his outburst is perfectly acceptable? Taylor ought to acknowledge and honor it. In the comments section below, please let me know. Don't forget to subscribe to my channel if you want to be updated on all celebrity dramas.